Konnichiwa, my swordlings. This is Sephiroth Sword 57, and welcome back to the Sephiroth Sword 57 show. This video's topic is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while now. In this video, we will be talking about Kojima and his time at Konami. A lot of Westerners don't actually know what went down between Kojima and Konami, so this video will make everything clear. So buckle up for a history lesson, and here we go! Kojima Hideo joined Konami in the 80s, where he started working on games for the MSX, which was a Japanese exclusive computer. The first game he worked on was Penguin Adventure, the sequel to Antarctic Adventure, as an assistant director. Later, Kojima was asked to take over a project, Metal Gear, from a senior associate. This is the franchise Kojima is most famous for. Kojima also made a really cool and good adventure game for the Mega CD titled Snatcher, one of the best games on the system in fact, and there's also a small version of a Metal Gear in this game. How kawaii! And then in 1998, Kojima created Metal Gear Solid for the Sony PlayStation. Metal Gear Solid was a big hit in Japan, but also in the West, and for good reason. It's good. But here is where we see Kojima act a bit differently. While the game has shinobi and katana, it lacks the kind of Japanese quality we would expect from the Japanese Konami. Instead, we can see a bit of Western society trends seep into this title. But our story doesn't end there. Kojima also demanded that the game should have an English voiceover in the Western release, which they did add. There's nothing wrong with the Japanese voices, so why did they do this? Well, here's how it is. Metal Gear Solid was released in 1998, not too long after World War II, and since Westerners were still racist against Japanese, Konami decided to do the English voiceover to disguise Metal Gear Solid as a Western game. Which was a good idea at the time, even if the English voice acting is garbage. Luckily, today there's a lot of Japanese games that get localized with their original Japanese voices, and a lot of more people have started watching anime with subs instead of dubs. But there's definitely room for improvements. Anyway, after the release of Metal Gear Solid, Kojima was a bit worried about Kojima's approach when making games. And who wouldn't be? It was almost like Kojima had some Western influences. So Konami confronted Kojima about this and humbly requested that he should make an authentic Japanese cool anime mech game to show his loyalty. So Konami put their best employees to work on the project, which was later revealed as the incredible Zone of the Enders for the Supreme PlayStation 2. But little did anyone know, Kojima had secretly been working on a sequel to Metal Gear Solid and demanded that a demo of the game will be shipped together with every copy of Zone of the Enders. With this menacing plan, Kojima stole the spotlight from Zone of the Enders, and everyone's eyes were now focused on Metal Gear Solid 2. Konami didn't have a lot of choice here. Kojima already spent almost all of his budget on making his game, so they had to release it. And it was a huge success in the West. This is where we start to see Kojima's delusional mind develop. And while Metal Gear Solid 2 is a fine game in itself, like Raiden's design feeling more Japanese here, the Western influences are way too present here. We can see the cutscenes use a Hollywood-style choreography and cinematography instead of the more artistic and sophisticated anime style. Now here it's pretty clear that Kojima doesn't actually want to make video games. Guess it was nothing. With the overwhelming Western success of the Metal Gear franchise, a third game in the series was unavoidable. Konami had to greenlit another project for Kojima, who now had his own internal studio at Konami, Kojima Productions. And now Kojima completely lost his mind. He started to only focus on the Metal Gear franchise, releasing both 3 and 4, and with each title it kept getting worse and worse. Not only that, But it was during this time that Kojima began secretly working alongside Nintendo, making an awful and bad remake of the original Metal Gear Solid for the Nintendo GameCube titled Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes, as well as letting Nintendo put Snake in their Super Smash Bros. Series, all which were most likely done behind Konami's back. It was looking dark for Konami, but then Kamiya Hideki stepped in and noticed something was wrong. Together with his powerful Platinum Game Studios, he tried to stop this downward spiral and created the awesome Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance for the dynamic PlayStation 3. But unfortunately, despite being a masterpiece, it wasn't enough to save Konami. During all of this, Kojima was of course working on his magnum opus, Metal Gear Solid 5. Kojima just used up his whole budget on creating a graphic engine that would live up to distasteful Western standards, and demanded Konami for more money to also make the game. It was during this time that Konami noticed that Kojima was making an Assassin's Creed-esque open world game that was made to only appeal to Westerners. Konami was terrified that this could lead to Kojima and his Western fanboy army to infiltrate Japan and the Konami headquarters in Tokyo. But with their great skill of perception, it was time for Konami to turn the tables on the ruthless Kojima. Konami was bleeding money after all, so they had to do something. And before Kojima could release his abomination, Konami gracefully stepped in to stop this madness. They decided it was time for Kojima to be removed from the company. He now had to wrap up the development of Metal Gear Solid 5 and cancel his upcoming game Silent Hills, a new game in the Silent Hill franchise, which he also tried to ruin by lazily sneaking in Western actors instead of originally designed characters, and Western horror tropes with the help of Western director Guillermo del Toro. So, after the release of Metal Gear Solid 5, Kojima was fired from Konami, and everything seemed to be fine. However, the aftermath of this whole ordeal was something even worse. Kojima started spreading lies about what happened between him and Konami, and since Kojima had gained the Westerners' trust after all these years, he could easily manipulate them and frame Konami as the bad guys. With the help of the dishonest Jeff Keighley of the Game Awards fame, the whole Western society ganged up to bully Konami with fake articles and rumors, which were all completely false. Now, it is true that Konami has pretty strict working ethics with their employees, but this is just the martial way of the samurai, also known as Budo, which is a common practice in Japanese business structure, and the Japanese people prefer it that way. Another complaint I hear is that Konami isn't making that many games anymore. Well, you have Kojima to thank for that, since he used up almost all of Konami's money. If it wasn't for Kojima, we would all be playing Suikoden 6 right now. Another criticism I've heard is that Konami is focusing more on their pachinko parlors and the Konami Sports Club. But what is the problem here? We all love pachinko, and Konami have a lot of brands they can use for creating unique experiences. As for their sport club gyms, exercising is really important, and as a martial artist, I would recommend that you start exercising for a change. It's good for you. Okay, I heard that. I knew it.
So, you finally found me, huh?
I think you're underestimating me quite a bit there, Solid Snake.
You're pretty good, but I've been hiding here for a while.
Who sent you here, Snake? Who sent you?
My master, of course, Hideo Kojima.
So I guess Kojima survived. First off, it's Hideo Kojima. Not that he deserved to be called that, after betraying Japanese culture like he did. But I guess you, with the English voice actor of Solid Snake, wouldn't even understand that.
You'll find out soon enough. Sephiroth Sword 57. But now that I've been discovered, it's time for me to return to my master with the new intel I've gathered.
Don't you dare! Don't let him escape! Catch him! Catch him! Hurry! Get him! Get him! Don't let him run away! Well, unfortunately, we were not able to catch Snake, my swordlings. So, we will have to let him go for now. Oh, and by the way, the part you just saw was just for fun, and is not actually canon to the Sephiroth Sword 57 Gaiden show. Just a fun little scene for the video, but you can see it as a tease for things to come. So in conclusion, Hideo Kojima is a slap in the face to Japanese culture. He should not be considered a Japanese man. Instead, I would like to call him the traitor of Japanese culture. And before you try using your subjective opinion as arguments in the comments, here is a disputable fact. Kojima made this many games, and Konami made this many. Arigato for watching. Have a good night, evening, morning, or day. Moshi mosh! Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy what you saw, make sure you like the video and subscribe for more content. Well, my swordlings, I am back from my little break. And arigato to all of my patrons who were helping out during this time. And yes, that is right, for just $1 a month, you can support the Sephiroth Sword 57 show and Sephiroth Sword 57 Gaiden. Any help will be greatly appreciated. Again, arigato for watching. Moshi mosh!